Hello, this is my Skye guide on Split. We're going to be going over defense first. So the first thing we have to know is that we are more of a information gathering agent, so we have to be particularly active at the start of the round sometimes, or most of the time. If we don't have another information agent that can do this better, then we are going to be using our bird and our dog to get a lot more information, or a lot of our information for our team. So first things first, if in mid, I usually play B tower and mid mail a lot. So if there are no footsteps in mid, I'll actually just send this bird out early into the round, about 5 seconds in, if I don't hear any footsteps, and this just gives me info on whether people are playing in these positions, or like maybe there's a lurk, maybe there's like they're just doing a slow play through mid. I'll have information on either of those plays. So yeah, that's basically it for like deep mid. You don't really need to do too much. If there are situations that are like Sage is going to wall this, and then you can play like a crossfire here, probably further back like this. And you don't need to use any util there. That's like the same as every other agent in the game, more or less. You don't have like any molly to stall or anything, so you're just going to be doing a good old crossfire. And then we're going to play it a bit more defensively into B tower. What we're going to do is we're going to have two important positions to play. So this is the first one, and the other one is around the rafters. So what you want is you want one player on this, and one player here. You can be either player. So what it is if you hear anyone mail, so then that's when you'll flash, but also you can have a teammate playing contact here, or they can play anti-flash. It's up to them, or up to you. But if they are playing contact, you flash off their contact. If they're playing anti-flash, you flash off your own footsteps that you hear. And this flash is the one you do, so you do it against this wall, so your teammate doesn't get flashed. It also is guaranteed to blind the people actually aggressing at the start here, because if you do the flash too deep, then it might not get someone that's pushing past the bird, and then they're not flashed, and they can kill potentially both of you. So you need to be very, very careful that you are doing it like this. It has like 0% chance to flash your teammates, so that's really good too. And sometimes as well, when your teammate is playing contact, sometimes it's better to just get your gun out and watch this instead of flash. But it's up to you to find like when those timings are. Sometimes it's better when they're like ecoing, for instance. They're gonna rush quite fast, so the flash might be too much of a break in like the amount of like pressure they're receiving. So you give them a flash, and they're all gonna be flashed, but there's gonna be a lot of people here, right? And you're not gonna flash everyone, so you might get a bit overwhelmed because you like staggered the two fights, right? Because this person fought first. So if you like play together a lot more against ecos, then it might be better, or it probably will be better than doing this flash play. If you do want to play the rafters, so if you're the rafters player, then you're gonna have to ask a teammate to play in this position, and kind of look a bit more left so they don't get flashed by what you're gonna do. So they're gonna be doing like this like sort of a shallow peek like you were gonna do. So when you do this, you do like a shallow peek. You don't ever do this. You do this. The reason why you do this is because you're gonna catch anyone that this player can't see, and this player's gonna catch anyone that you can't see, right? And then you can, once like maybe this person gets killed, they hide, you get a kill. You hide, then it's -2 for the enemy team, right? And then if we play rafters, we're going to do this pop flash. It's a bit weaker because of the nerfs to Skye a bit ago, when she gets like a worse flash if she pops it too early. But yeah, it's still good. It's still good. I would recommend doing it. That's like the best way to play Heaven majority of the time when you're playing Skye. At least if you bear in mind that this person doesn't have any like util that I can talk about. Like the second player doesn't have any util I can talk about. Sometimes it's like different ways to play it depending on who's with you. For instance, Sage walls and things, you might end up making a crossfire here. You might end up walling this, and then needing like a trap here, and that's just how your team is going to operate. So maybe you don't do any of this sort of play because there's going to be a wall here. So instead, you're going to be like looking for an aggressive play on top of a wall here or something, and you can like flash your teammate around this corner, things like that, right? You just want to be aware of like what your teammates can do. But these two set plays are good for Skye individually, that you can do with any teammate. We're going to B next. So on B, I do play B sometimes. The reason why is because if I'm against like, if I'm at eco, or if it's like a fairly equal round, and the enemy team don't have a sentinel, or like even if they do, sometimes I'll still take this space. So what I'll do is I'll just flash early on, like this. And what this does, it clears like a decent amount of area here where no one was looking at this flash, or saw this flash, or got like hit by this flash. And that means that I have like free reign to kind of like walk up, potentially get the orb, or I can take more space if I want to. And if I am skeptical that someone is here, then I'll dog. and try and basically protect myself from a potential trap play in the push I want to do. So I'll check out all of mid. And then I'll try and get into this position. So this, bear in mind if I don't have a sentinel, because then you will have the opportunity to do this. And what this position does is you will have this position here. You'll also have this position here by looking at them. You can choose which one you want to choose. Probably this one is the most likely, but generally you'll hear people run through sewers. A lot of people do fast rotations, and you'll also hear through. You'll hear them in T-spawn. So the only place they can rotate through that you can't see them or hear them is CT spawn. So and you'll probably know if you lose CT spawn. So yeah, this is like a really strong position to get yourself into, and Skye has the capability of doing that because she has these information tools from the dog and the bird. So I recommend trying to use them as much as possible. If they do have a sentinel, actually I think I went over this in a video, but if they do have a sentinel, then what you can do is you can just flash for this. And actually, I'm not sure that video ever got released. But what you can do is you can just you can flash, and then if they do have a sentinel, you can expect there's going to be a trap. You can take the orb, you can take space in B main. Just bear in mind, like, you are going to be alone most likely in ranked, so you know you're going to have to probably go 1 for 1, 1 for 2, depends on how good you are basically. Maybe you can get one, try and do a pop flash, try and get another, or just try and get away even. You kill one and then just pop flash for trying to get it and try to get away. Obviously, you don't have enough time actually, so you probably will die. You probably should just try and get 2. Yeah, so that's it for B. Actually, there's one more thing. You can do a flash over this to check for B, and if you want to play rafters. That's basically it. That's all I've got for Skye. Really. That's all you really need to know, really, for B. Then we go over to A. I don't really ever play events, so I'm not going to go anything with events. So on ramps, I'll very rarely play ramps. But when I do play ramps, it's usually if we're like pushing very fast, or if we want to take a lot of control in A main. So I'll do flashes like this. But generally, I'm not going to be playing from het ramp, because generally main is better. So I'll just go over to main right now, because a lot of the plays I'm going to do on ramp are going to be the same as main. So first of all, you can do, as you just saw, this flash. It's going to get a lot of people. It's also not going to flash anyone playing ramps with you or for you. You can also do a deep flash like this, which will get more people like in these corners, and maybe someone in there. It'll get a bit deeper. If you are like really hard pushing with like a raise ult or something, then you can just dog. You don't even have to flash if you don't want to. I would recommend probably actually do flash actually in a month. You probably should definitely flash. You can either do that line, or you can do a line into sewers. So you just check these corners. You check this corner, this corner. You can either detonate the dog like that. Or you can just go jump down, and you can see everything is good. So yeah, you've got like plenty of options with the dog there. And then yeah, that's like it for defense. But I will quickly talk about the ult. So what you want to do with your ult is, if you get first blood in a round, you can use your ult, and then, or not just you specifically, but your team gets first blood in the round. You can use this ult, and you can find where 3 out of 4 players are. You can also wait for it to be a 3v3 if you want to, and use this, or like a 3v something, or like the enemy team has 3 players, and that this will give you positions on every single player, on all players, most likely anyway. It depends on like if they're together, grouped up, then you might only get the position of one player. So there is like the counterplay to Skye's ult, but generally this ult is one of the best in the game, because in mid round it's one of the strongest, because you can always know where like any lurkers may happen to be if it's like mid round 3v3 or something. So it's really strong in that use. There's also, you can also use this for retaking as well. So when you're in a retake on A or something, then you can always use your ult to find where all the players are. You can find if there's someone in vents, for instance. So if you're retaking A and use ult here, then if you just follow the seekers. If there's a seeker going this way, you probably know there's someone in mid flanking you. So yeah, it's just very basic use of her ult to try and find where people are. She's a very information-based agent, very strong at it as well. We'll go over to defense. Oh, sorry, attack name. I'll start with A. We'll swap players as well. I'll swap teams. I mean, there you go. So on A, there are a couple things I usually do. So this one is one I barely ever do, but I will show you anyway. So this what you do is you just flash through here, and you can flash all of sight. You can tell if someone's playing sight, but bear in mind that is probably going to flash someone playing Terror 2, so you don't actually have great information. It's usually good to just flash the players on sight right before your teammates go in. Because if they do go in after that flash, or like before that flash, sorry, then they'll get flashed by it. So you want to be careful with that flash. I barely ever do it for that reason, actually. Because it's very easy to team flash your team with that one. Then I'll do a dog. I usually do a dog at the start of every round when we go away. And this is the type of line I'll do. So I'll do a line like this, where I'll see all these corners, and then I'll look into this corner and then look left while jumping. I'll do it again because I didn't do it particularly great. But you can look in both corners, and then you can see this corner, and then you can jump and see everywhere behind. I actually do recommend not doing that left line. So see exactly, this is going to be the best place. This is how you exactly do it now. Okay, that saw everything. That was the best way to do it. That dog was the best one. Because if you go here, you have to like do some base movements to see everything again, to see behind screens and the elbow. But if you go this way, then you can see both with like look in one direction. That's like how I'll do it. And then if I want to follow up with a bird, I'll just try and bend it around. Sorry, damn, I'm missing everything. I'll just try and bend it around this planter here. You can also bend it around the wall on the side like this. You can also bend it super close if you want to as well. If I do have a raise going ramps very fast, I'll flash it like this. And the reason why I flash it up like this instead of down is because it takes a longer time for you to flash someone on this size. The reason being is because if you go like super close to this corner, right, you can see how it's not going to flash very much. It's going to flash someone taking a very shallow line here, and it will flash someone like kind of like taking like a weird angle from this box. It won't flash behind the box, that's fine, you don't need to. But the other flash that I threw, so the one that goes around the corner, it will flash like, it was not actually that wide, but it'll flash a bit here, right? And this will actually see someone hiding in this sort of like little sort of pocket. You won't see anyone playing anti-flash here, so you need to be wary. Like, this is the only thing that can actually counter this flash. Or playing anti-flash in this corner too. I mean, I guess playing anti-flash in general, but counters flashes, you would have thought. But yeah, the box one is probably the most scary one for the raise player coming up here. But yeah, if you want to bend it around here so it gets majority of the place you want. And then when you're finally on site, I generally don't play any like super passive angles when I play Skye. I tend to play in like the elbow angle over here, and then trying to take fights if I need to anyway. If I don't need to take any fights, I won't. If we actually come in from A main, sometimes I'll stay here because I'm playing a very like hard contact angle. It's not always the best thing to do that. I just do it because I'm stupid. But sometimes it's better to like wait for to play a more passive angle and wait for a bird to come back up, because you do have a regenerating ability, and not all agents have a regenerating ability. So you may want to let the people that don't have any util that's regenerating to take the first fights. So yeah, you might want to play a bit more passively when you're playing Skye sometimes. Let's go actually to mid first, or mid second, sorry. So from mid, usually I'll be coming from sewers, just because I feel like it's like a better angle. Because if this is clear, any oppers are going to have problems, right? Because the op is going to hold like this, right? They're usually going to hold like that. They very rarely take this angle. And basically what you want to do is you just want to make sure that this person jump spots first. Usually, because they have, or not even jump spot. Usually you want this person to peek first. If they are like focused on this angle. So you can jump spot this, but this is scary and risky. But jump spotting allows this player to like peek first. So if this is clear, you have a better angle on the op, right? Because the op is going to be looking at here. And then that's fine. So once you've got like past this point, right? That's just some more basic stuff. That wasn't even Skye related really. Sometimes I'll do a flash early, but generally this is going to get sage walled. And if it doesn't get sage walled, it's going to get smoked. So what I'll do is I'll wait for my teammates to get close to the smoke and flash through. Or I'll dog. And the dog pathing is based on like where you want to go as a team, right? So if we want to go vents, then I will go vents. And you can't climb the ropes as the dog, so the dogs are like, the dog is guaranteed to like clear this part of vents and that's it. So he's not the strongest of dogs into vents, so sometimes you might be better off just using flash. And then using dog later on down that push. But it is harder also to like get that to get a good dog going through vents. I'll show you when we go through. But then the other dog is this one, which is a pretty strong dog. So you can choose which pathing you want to do. You can go stairs, or you can go rafters. You can go like rafters, and if you see someone at the bottom, you can stun them, or you can look rafters, and you can actually stun there as well. So just impress it. If you want to actually, so say if we went vents, my team, I might do a pop flash like this. And then once we're at this position, if ramp is clear and we know it's clear, then I'll dog like this to get like some CT control and see if anyone's screen, etc. Or if I know that we're going sight very fast, then I'll do this. So this pathing is like the better pathing. So you see all of that then there, and you also see all of sight. It's very similar. We sort of like tag on to what we usually do A main. We're just sort of like carrying it on from this position. And a lot of people get baited by this dog where they run elbow. But the problem is with this one is that you're not going to actually see super far in the corner. Actually, you can actually just about do it, I think. But generally, you're not going to be able to clear this position, and this position is hard to clear sometimes. So I recommend clearing this position first. Much better. Or you can do the deep dog, go into screens from CT, and that's also fine. If you don't have ramp control, then you can just dog ramp if you want to, or you can flash. Depends on what you want to do. If you want to have the dog for something else. But yeah, you can dog all of you can dog all of main. You can actually do it fully as well if it's not bad. You can do it fully like this. There you go. You got everything. So yeah, you got plenty of options with the dog from vents. And then we'll go to male. So we probably would have already used a dog from this position because I feel like this dog from here is really, really strong. So I would have already used dog. So that at this point, I would probably do a flash like this, or a flash like this, or a flash like this, or a flash like this. So basically around these four corners, this one, this one, this one, or this one. And that's like pretty much how you want to go in. It's basically your flash is based on a read you have or information you have. One of the two, right? So if you know someone's stairs, you're probably going to do something like, not quite that flash, but you're probably going to do this one. Or you're going to do a one that's slightly deeper, especially if there's a smoker there. So say if you've got an omen on your team and they smoke that off, you can flash into the smoke. Or if you know that there's someone like here, they're making noise, or you have a read that they're going to be close with a judge or something, you can do a flash like that instead. And then once you're on site, that's like, you know, you're going to play site. So with B, generally, it's more of a test of, with like post plants in general, a lot of the time it's just a test of your mechanics with Skye. And like some of your team play, right? So you can do a high-low here, so you can have a teammate crouch there, you can stand up here, and it's really hard for one player to kill you both, because they have the crosshair adjustment they have to do is pretty high, so that's pretty hard for them to do it. Generally, you probably want to be waiting for your bird to regenerate, as I've said in the previous post plant, and then we'll just do B main finally. So from B main, there are a couple of things I'll do. So on the pistol, this is usually with a pistol, or sometimes I'll do it against the bonus, so the enemy team bonusing, and I'm actually no, sorry, the other way around. I'm bonusing and the enemy team are buying, and then I'll have maybe a marshal or something, or I'll just have like a ghost, and I'll do this play where I'll do this jump, and then basically I can hold this, and then if my teammates contact here, then I can spray this at head height. So I've got like good options, right? And they can't really fight me, because to fight me they have to swing my whole team. Basically, they have to go past this angle to fight me. So it's really hard for them to actually fight me. And like kill me. And I have a lot of pressure on them because they can't stand in front of my teammates while they're getting dinked through the wall. So that's pretty strong. You can do that with on any round, to be fair. But it's just risky sometimes. Because if they send in a util at you, you're in the middle of nowhere. You have to go right and then you can be stuck. So it is really hard. So usually it's better on pistol, because not many people will commit util to be made. On split, not many defense players will anyway. Or not many players that like even immortal, so maybe a radiant. And then yeah, I think that's basically it for B. I'm gonna do a dog with this. And this dog can see basically everything. You can see all of CT. It's just kind of a matter of like how you want to path. So you can path like this, and you can see a lot of different things. Usually you'll probably get stunned by then. But yeah, you can make sure you always check this as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention. But yeah, you can basically check everything with dog. Pretty good. I usually do the dog going sight, because it's a lot of pressure on the player playing sight or back sight, rather than going through this way. Also, there tends to be a sage wall there. If there is a sage wall there, you can do like a flash that goes down. Like if you do like around the corner and then go straight down, it'll like flash below the sage wall, so your teammates won't get flashed if they like look over here, look over the wall. If I do have a teammate going in fast, I'll do a flash like around this. I'll do a flash around this. Honestly, a lot of Skye is just bending your flashes around corners. and timing it with your teammates going out, right? So if my Raze is like satcheling out, as she satchels, I'm going to send the bird with her. So as it pops, she comes around the corner as it pops. Similar to like how a pop flash would work, basically. And once again, I'll just talk about the ult. So the ult is exactly the same as basic defense. If you get first bloods and some early kills on your team, then you can use this to find the remaining players. And this is like really strong. This can actually help you make decisions on the macro. So where you're actually going to end, you can make that decision based on where the seekers go, right? So if we get 2 kills at B and I send my ult, and all 3 cabbages are going this way, we know that they're going to flank from A, right? And that means that we can commit to here. That's a very extreme example. Won't happen very often. But yeah, you get the kind of gist, right? We haven't talked about the heal at all. That's for good reason, because this ability is probably the worst ability in the game, and I don't think it's even that close. Because this ability only does one thing, and it only has one mode, which is just heal teammates, and that's it. And it's not even bad to heal teammates necessarily. It's just that this is the only thing it can do. And even things like Phoenix heal. So Phoenix's heals, he can be used in other ways, right? That it's a molly and a wall. Even Sage's heal can be used to heal herself, which makes it better. Also, it does heal. I don't know. It does technically heal more throughout the round as well. And also on top of that as well, there's also Reyna's heal, which is very selfish, but it also has the option to dismiss, and it can also heal over 100. So this heal is like the worst in the game, and it also makes it the worst ability in the game, because heals in general are very situational and tend to be not very valuable. So yeah, that's it for the Skye Guide. I hope this was comprehensive, and you learned a lot, or learned enough. So yeah, I'll see you in my next one.